What's up, everybody? Joey Sauce, Colin Confidential. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I'm here with Jeff Alsop, that you may remember from GPS Track It. He's a solutions engineer. And we also have a fellow PMP, Valerie Cruzado from Protect the Pest Solutions in Georgia. And we're here to talk pretty much about tracking and tools like that for your business. So Valerie, welcome. Jeff, welcome back. So we got to ask every pest management professional this. How did you get involved in pest control?
Ironically, we were in the real estate business, had other things going until the market crashed back in 2008. And we had no idea, like, what the heck. And my brother actually has his own company out here, and he brought us out, started working with him. And sometimes we'd rather have a better family relationship than a work relationship. So parted our ways. He went on his way, and he noticed he wasn't doing as many services as the other companies were doing. All of a sudden, my husband was doing like 25 services a day, and he had to run the route. He's coming home late at night and got his operator's license. And one day he just, you know what, 25 services a day is just too much on a technician to do. And we started our own business. We left in 2008, and then we ended up opening our own business in 2014.
Nice. I feel like I've heard that story 100 times. So in the summer, what is your average amount of stops per day?
I say about 12.
Are you pure play residential?
No, we do have a few commercial here and there. 3 restaurants that we do that need it at night. But otherwise, the commercial ones, whether it be doctor's offices, just regular office buildings, we're able to still perform those during the day.
Yeah. Commercial is just different. We have vertical routes where a guy is in a building for the entire day, and each floor is a different service ticket. So you could have 15 to 18, but you're literally 15 minutes, 20 minutes. By no residential, 12 seems to be the magic number of pure play residential. Mosquito only, if you use something like GPS Track It and you can get them all on the right route. I've known people that could get up to 20 to 22 mosquito only done in a day. So with that being said, what are some of your favorite tools for improving your services?
I would say some of them are, of course, our CRM. It's been great to be able to manage our clients a lot better, being able to know who they are, where they are. Of course, our GPS, that's been amazing, being able to track things, know where our technicians are. It makes it easier to be able to route their day out so they can get places in a timely manner. And text line. We added a text line to our system, and it's an online text line. Our clients and everybody else that we message tend to respond quicker and sooner than us having to try to email them or call them. That's been one of our favorite ones to add on. And of course, also creating a good relationship with our account manager where we purchase our pesticides. He keeps us up to date as to any changes, what's new, what's improving. I just got off the phone with him actually just right before you guys putting in an order, and he updated us on some new products that have come out that actually perform better. So with having all that, it does make our day a lot smoother than try to run it like in the Flintstone day and age, which is paper and everything.
Do you have any tips for a small business that might be looking for ways to differentiate themselves?
Ours has been not doing as many services in a day, cutting back with how many, developing a good relationship with your clients. With having fewer services in a day, you're able to focus and actually spend a lot more quality time. We've actually had a few technicians that have come from larger companies, and they're used to like maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. And they're, of course, calling us saying, did they really do something? How could they do it with that short amount of time? And we've had a lot of people that have left and have come to us because of that, because we do take more time. We get to know them. We get to know their homes as to what services they need. And the majority of our clients, their information is what's specific to that home that they need. Like, this area tends to be more moist. You got to make sure you've got Alticid spread out over here. Focusing on their porch, they always tend to have this happen. So it's when the technicians go, they know where they need to put that focus in. And of course, just that relationship with the clients, that's more than anything. Then they feel a lot more confident. They know us instead of just a stranger who just shows up and runs around their home and disappears. They feel more confident with us, and they love working with us. They trust us more by us just getting to know them.
The customer experience is huge. I agree. So how long have you been using GPS Track It? How have you used tracking to improve service, the customer experience?
We just got them about a year ago. It's made it a lot easier. One of our biggest example is that there was one time a client called in and they had an issue. And instead of looking at just our CRM to see, okay, this is when we can go, we have time tomorrow, or a technician has time this following day to be there, we saw exactly where he was. And he was just actually on the other side of the block. So it's like, you know what? He's finishing up here. We'll have him run over there. And it's like, send him over. Again, had it not been for GPS track it, we most likely would have scheduled the tech to go back out a few days later, maybe even a week later to go take care of it. Whereas in this instance, they were able to just, you're right there already, right around the corner, just head on over there and take care of them. So it's on instances like that and tracking them, knowing what's going on. We even had a time where a technician had a flat tire and we were able to tell the owner where exactly he was at to get things taken care of.
Yeah, we've had GPS maybe probably around the same time. And one of the things that I like about it is the report. So in New York City, it's a great place to visit. I love it here. I grew up here, but running a business here is like the American Ninja Warrior course. So in New York City, if you idle for longer than 3 minutes, I think the first ticket is $300. The second ticket is like $1,000. It's crazy. Wow. And they've made it so bad that a citizen, anybody walking by, videos your car for 3 minutes and then sends it into, I don't know if it's 311 and they get a percentage of your ticket.
Oh.
So now you on your lunch break could get $30 for my guy idling for 3 minutes. Which is insane. So the idling is turned on in all our vehicles. And that worked great for us. We've implemented all the stuff like the hard turning and the hard braking and the hard start, just to let them, it'd be nice in a perfect world. You give an employee a car and they treat it like it's the greatest gift in the world, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have that. So we have all these things in place in the hopes that they treat the car well. And also for all the other great things like efficiency. And we have the plug and plays. And with those, we like the alert because it goes directly through. We're able to call the mechanic and say, here's the code. You don't have to pay that $150 diagnostic fee. We've already diagnosed it. You don't need to plug your thing in for $150. We already got it. So Jeff, we spoke about that briefly in the first time that we met.
We got an open API for stuff like that. We got API keys. So it's really working with that third party to leverage what they can do on their end to do that data sharing, which is great. It just makes each system more robust, creates more of a service and management ecosystem for you guys. And love the commentary I'm hearing now, because I think the beauty of GPS Track It is you guys are in the same industry, right? But you use it in slightly different ways, but the system is not it's not an a la carte solution. It's an all you can eat plan. We give you everything, and there's certain modules that work for one business and don't work for another, but we're not going to nickel and dime you for that. We're going to give you everything we can do, and you choose what most impacts your business. For you guys up in New York, you've got a lot of the driver safety stuff to adjust behavior, to make sure your vehicles are being taken care of the way they want, to maintain that vehicle health, to understand when you got a major mechanical issue so you're not having those added service costs. You're like, check engine lights on, I'm going to drive it the rest of the day. We'll see what happens by the time. That can turn into a massive repair, or I bet it's fun to get a tow truck in New York City if it breaks down. So those type of things are key. And then, Valerie, your story is spot on as far as what we typically see out of a service-based company. It's that efficiency in dispatching, the ability for you to create a higher level of customer service. Like you said, he was just around the block and you knew that. You're able to get him over there within probably less than an hour. You just made somebody extremely happy, which fits the narrative of how you're running your business, right? It's a customer first, this personal experience. They know you, and that just adds a layer to that you can improve your customer service there. And all the while creating some operational efficiencies, right? We just saved ourselves fuel consumption, and we saved ourselves an extra job of trying to schedule later on. We got it done. So we like to think in terms of, if we can do those things and you guys can visualize those things in the platform, then we can get those extra jobs done per week. And that's a return to you guys to the bottom line. That's an extra job, right? And all the while, we're just improving customer loyalty there as well. So very cool stories, guys. I love it.
Yeah. And Valerie, don't be afraid to ask your CRM rep if they could do the integration, because you may already be paying. If I remember correctly, if you're using that texting, it's probably a similar phone system. You're probably paying for the API for the phones, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's it. It's a one-time API fee with that CRM. So imagine if your team could do it all just in the CRM.
It would definitely be nice.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
You're already using the two things you like. You like
Yep.
GPS track it, you like your CRM. And if they can talk to each other, that's our overall goal at Colony Pest, to have everything go through one screen, if you will. My contention will always be why these CRMs never add an AP piece, because they could charge more money for it. But I understand now after 20 years, why not? Because it's a nightmare. Just one thing alone is a nightmare from any tech company. But it would be beautiful once all of that stuff is talking and your reps don't have to have. We have 3 screens at every desk, and still people have 18 windows open.
So true. Right now, it's like, oh, if we could just find it all in one place, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I never thought about the text line, but it's like until you mentioned, I'm like, you're right. We do have that ability, and we just never added it. But you get used to something, you keep going, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, that would make it simpler. Why not make your days simpler? I know my assistant's always finding new things in the system too. Hey, look, we can do this. I'm like, nice, add it. Let's do it. We just had our first technician call us and say, hey, I just rescheduled this to another day on the system. Just wanted to let you guys know, because I guess a client that they were sick and they had to reschedule today. And it was nice that they did it instead of us, because we've gotten so used to them calling us, can you reschedule this? We're like, yeah, let me see what we can do. So it's nice to say, okay, give him access, let him do it on his own.
Nice.
He's reasonable. He's responsible for everything. He's even taken the vehicle in for an oil change right now.
The more you can push into the field is beautiful for you guys in the back office, right? Because it just gets things done faster, whether it be rescheduling, whether it be you guys have work orders and can invoice more quickly to get your billables paid more quickly, things of that nature. So yeah, anything pushed to the field in real time really helps the back office for sure.
I think sometimes our guys think all we're doing is just playing on the computer all day. If you only knew what we had to do in here, the reports, the diagrams, the documents, the legalities, the HR, if you guys only knew what we were doing every day. I'm married to the owner. He comes home and I'm exhausted. He's like, what have you been doing all day? I'm like, don't ask. But he stayed in here one day. He saw everything we did with the phones calling and everything. And he's, you do a lot. I'm like, yes, we do. We keep you working out in the field.
That's traditionally the way it works, right? Service dislikes we call them CSSs, but the field techs don't like the CSRs. Nobody likes the salespeople and all that. What we started doing 5 years ago is every technician, if you, let's say the goal is you start today, you have 2 days in office, which are strictly HR stuff and taking our own internal tests and whatnot. Then you go out, you're trained for a minimum of 4 to 6 weeks, and then you spend 1 day with a customer service person so that you see what they go through all day. Supply chain issues and vehicle issues. So we're all being forced to keep vehicles longer, right? And vehicle maintenance is something that, I'll just be honest, I haven't experienced in 12 years because we've swapped them out. Maintenance was minimal. Do you have any tips?
Definitely on the GPS track, that's helped us a great deal too, because before them, it was always, we need to see what your mileage is for that, what you did over the week. I just email it into us constantly so we could at least try to stay up on top of it. But that was hectic. Sometimes they forgot, sometimes they didn't get it in, they'd get busy, or would be so busy that all of a sudden it's, oh, when's the last time we changed the oil on this vehicle? It's been like 5 months. Oh my gosh, we're so behind on it. Or that check engine light would come on. We're like, okay, we've got to get in front of this. Now we can stay on top of it and say, okay, we got to schedule a day to get this vehicle in, get the oil changed so we can keep the tech out on the road, because we don't have other vehicles to replace. Saying, okay, bring the vehicle in so you can switch it out so that you've got another vehicle to run. I remember the first time a tech asked that, it's like, what vehicle can I drive today? Then I'm like, there isn't another one. Like, one, you should have told us because we've asked you to keep track of it. Now, again, it's not their vehicle. They're not going to keep track of it, but having that ability now, the report, it's time for this vehicle to have its oil change. It's time for this to go in for a tune-up, and then we'll schedule it in as part of their schedule for the day.
Yeah, we love that. And don't be like us. Don't feel that pain. You know how we knew that the inspection was done? We got a ticket. You know how we knew the registration was due? We got a ticket. It was just, we had spreadsheets that we tried, but there was no alerts. These alerts just makes the life easier.
To your point, Valerie, the nice part about that maintenance module is those pre-alert reminders, right? So it helps you with the planning and scheduling, because, hey, let me know when my vehicle is 100 miles, 200 miles from an oil change. And if I'm averaging 50 miles a day, I know, hey, by the end of the week, I need to schedule that for maybe a Friday. So and incorporate that into the business so you don't overlap with, actual work that's making you money. So that can really speed up the efficiency as far as getting those things done. And to the supply chain point, yeah, you got a vehicle to go down for repairs and it's down for 3 days a week, something like that. That's just lost revenue. So if we're able to maintain vehicles on time, that vehicle health aspect of the system, it's another key piece of return on investment. And honestly, you guys are ahead. Most businesses don't necessarily take advantage of the maintenance option within the portal. They don't really think about it. It's up to the driver. And that's what I mean really about, we give you a solution that's an all-you-can-eat plan, and we're hoping that through conversations, we give you some best practices and some tools that can really help your business.
Again, it's all about automation. Automation is helping your brain get rid of stuff meaningless so you could get new meaningless stuff in and then wash it out again at some point, because as you continue to elevate, you just can't. My favorite, or really the worst term currently, is my bandwidth, right? If I hear I don't have the bandwidth for something one more time, I might lose my bandwidth. But look, as owners and managers, these menial tasks, once they're automated, it just allows us to focus on the other things like making money. Next questions. So you said you already hit the busy season.
Yeah.
You guys have roof rats down there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see, we don't. I can't wait for them to come to New York, by the way. With the busy season already here, or preparing for the busy season period, what tips do you have for maximizing productivity with less resources, which is what we're going to have to do in this economy?
It's definitely having your routes down pat. You got to have them down pat, because if you have them going from one side of the town to the other side of the town in one day, you're not going to get it done. But the closer and the tighter you get your routes done, the easier it is going to be able to run your system and run your services. You can get in as many in a day, just simplifying your day like that. Because again, if you don't have your routes down, you're like a chicken running around with its head cut off. You don't know where you're going.
100%. New York traffic is so horrendous. You could be 8 miles from somewhere and it takes you 45 minutes to get there. So I would say quarterly it's being looked at. In a rural area, you probably only need to look at it twice a year max. So what processes do you use to plan the team's routes more productive?
We have it on our CRM. And then also on our GPS, we're able to schedule their day. It's interesting on our CRM. It's funny watching my assistant, and she even just trained another person in our office how to schedule. But it's almost kind of like watching somebody take a crayon and draw a circle. And that's the system just like pulls in everybody that's in a certain area, and then it plops it onto the day for it to be scheduled already. And of course, we double check it with the GPS, making sure how the time is going, seeing how traffic's running that day. Because there's times we have to, the technician may call us and say, hey, this is happening. We're then able to go in and say, okay, now we got to reroute these guys to another day then, because he's not going to be able to make it. So it's staying in tune with the technicians during the day, but also just having those two to back each other up as to how we're scheduling them out and how packed, how many services we can get in a day when we're scheduling them out.
That's cool. Jeff, you got anything new coming out with GPS tracking?
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we just launched ETA links. Y'all seen that yet?
Yes, my assistant just saw that yesterday. She was excited about it.
You can pick your vehicle, pick your client, and send them an automated text or email. They can open that link and they can literally watch your technician on the way there. So it eliminates the, hey, when's your guy going to be here? How long is he going to be here? How far away is he? That type of thing. So if internally, if you got a pretty buttoned up process with the dispatcher or the office manager, next job up, they can quickly send that link out to that client, and they can sit there and watch the vehicle on the way. Now, again, that link will expire when they arrive. So they're not sitting there watching your vehicle all day long, but it expires when it arrives at the customer site. So just, again, another added layer of benefit from a customer service standpoint.
That's awesome.
Hopefully we can eliminate those calls by the client of where is X, because they're going to know in real time. It's almost watching your Uber car arriving to your house when you're waiting on it to pick you up, and know exactly when it's going to be there, so you can be ready for that too. So that's a newer thing in the field services space and the trade space that I think is going to have a really big impact. And we're going to continue to try to iterate that and make it more automated than it is currently. But we were really happy to get out that door, and hopefully that impacts y'all's businesses for sure.
There's not a lot of in our space doing that. This is the first I've heard of it, that it's actually a thing in the pest control space.
Yeah, we just got the information yesterday about it. So we're looking to implement that, because it is nice. I have to tell you, getting those texts or those phone calls about what time are they going to be here, even if it's just only an exterior service, they just like to know when they're showing up to their home. And as you said, it's just a new piece of technology that people like. It's like, when's Uber going to show up? When's your DoorDash going to show up? It's when's your Amazon being delivered? They say they're just a few stops down. It's just another additional service added for customer service.
Absolutely.
And it's a technology company. That's what we want to continue to do, is understand y'all's business, get y'all's feedback as partners of ours, and figure out what we can build to make your lives easier. That's the whole goal here. Automate as much as we can, give you as much visibility as we can, so that hopefully we're a big part of your success as a business, to where, like you're talking about, we can do more with less, or we feel more comfortable growing our business because we have a better handle on what's going on in the field.
Smaller companies may think that we're not a large company, so we can't afford any of this. But when it's built into something like this, it makes it a lot easier. And it makes us feel like, okay, we can function in the capacity of a larger company with all those tools, but still be a small customer focused company.
The truth behind that too is when you get these tools, you save money, which then negates the cost versus whatever. You know what I mean? Jeff and I, we broke it down last time in the savings. When we kept going down to savings, it was like, oh, maybe this actually only costs $2 a month. So I don't remember if it was you and I that spoke about AI, or if it was me and the CEO of GPS Track It. Is AI what helped you come up with the ETA links module, or was that just something always in play?
No, there's some noise in play that we thought through from a trades and service-based industry, is kind of the Uber model, right? How do we help you guys improve customer service and take something off y'all's plate, remove those extra calls that, like you said, those CSRs you've got, they're taking those calls all the time. Where's your truck? Where's your truck? Where's your truck? Well, as soon as we know they're going to that next customer, we send the ETA link to the customer and those calls go away. So it ultimately reduces the workload in the back office for you guys. It is the ultimate goal, and then just makes a happier customer. That was just stuff we thought through with. I think we've got a phenomenal team over at GPS Track It. I think we tried to think of ways to enhance and improve our application to benefit you guys, make it smarter, make it more intuitive. We got a big goal called less clicks. The less clicks to get from A to B for you guys, the better, right? You guys, I can clearly tell Valerie's got a very fast-paced internal office, wearing a lot of hats. And if it's a rabbit hole within our software to get from A to B, then that's a wasted time. That's the ultimate goal for us as we think through what do we do next. And specifically, we have a strategic market with trades and services. And that's where I think we really do extremely well. And so we switched focus with our development teams to think about what can benefit this industry. And what should we build next? And a big part of that is the feedback. Anybody who's with GPS Track It, if you come on board, there's a feedback tab in the application. Feel free to use it. We love to see those things from you guys. And when it comes from clients, it has more weight. Talk about nobody liking salespeople. When salespeople complain about, hey, we want this, we want that, we want this, they're more apt to listen to you guys than they are to us. We appreciate that feedback. We review that feedback too. And we figure out, how do we put that in our roadmap? And how do we build that? How do we design it? It's great stuff when we hear from you guys.
Yeah, we need more people to take advantage of that stuff, right? Valerie, do you use cameras in the car?
We are actually in the process of getting them. We just switched out a few vehicles, and so we held back on that because we wanted to make sure that we had them. We don't want to go install them and then have to reinstall. So we have one additional vehicle coming, and then we're switching over to get cameras.
Nice. And
Awesome.
That is, Jeff, where AI is used the most.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Trying to take a holistic approach to safety for the business and giving you guys more visibility into changing behaviors that are risky, right? Risk mitigation, insurance savings, things like that is really where we're going for. And primarily the prevention aspect of it. Is it nice to know when something happens, who is at fault? Absolutely. Our whole goal is to, with that in-cab real-time coaching, is to give drivers an idea of how they're operating the vehicle and then work to essentially auto adjust. Valerie, I'll tell you, I've had a camera in my truck for about 2 years, and man, do I drive completely differently than I used to. Because it's a game of it. Like, honestly, Valerie, it'll become gamification in the vehicle for your drivers. Their ultimate goal is going to become, I don't want that camera to talk to me today. And if it doesn't, then they've had an amazingly safe driving day because of the depth of what we can offer from an AI perspective. And what I mean by that is we're monitoring the external of the vehicle. So is my tailgating, am I close following? Is there a collision potential? We're going to start launching some new stuff like lane departure and stop sign violations and things of that nature. We're monitoring the external of the vehicle. And in the cab, we want to monitor that behavior. Are we hard braking? Are we rapid accelerating? Are we not wearing our seatbelt? Or we got our phone plugged up to the side of our head? Those type of things that increase risk to the business. And so again, all goes back to that preventative side of things by incorporating video. And then the offshoot benefit is that protection for you guys when something does happen. Insurance companies love the first notice of loss. It saves them valuable time and money when they're aware of an incident immediately. And so that can help improve insurance costs from an underwriting perspective for you guys as well. So many different avenues as you take that next step in fleet management technology by utilizing our bid fleet solution. And I think you'll really enjoy what it has to offer. And I think it'll change your risk profile considerably as you progress with the solution. And keep in mind for listeners, we can really configure these things down to a T for you. Valerie, if you think something's too sensitive, let us know and we'll dial back the sensitivity on it and things of that nature. We can turn triggers on and off for what videos are produced, what in-cab coaching occurs, things like that, because we also don't want it to obviously be overkill and drive your drivers insane, right? We want to provide you with a valuable tool to mitigate that risk for your business. And hopefully that has a big payoff in the future through accident reduction and things of that nature.
Yes.
Yeah, and look, eventually it's going to be mandated by insurance companies.
Sure.
And the sales part of it is from an internal place. As if you get in an accident, it's not your fault, then the cameras will tell us that. Yeah, listen, vehicle tracking is a must. And then when you find someone like GPS Track It, and now even with the ETA links, but before this, at a fair price, you get a great solution. For us, it's been great. Valerie, it sounds like it's been great for you. You're upgrading with the cameras. So that's awesome. Is there anything else you want to share with us today, Valerie?
Can't think of anything.
All right. Jeff?
I'm good. I appreciate the time. It's great to meet you, Valerie. And both of you, first and foremost, thank you for your business. We appreciate it. We love the partners we have, and we want to grow with you guys. So definitely feedback is important. We're here for you.
No, absolutely. Thank you again. So I want to thank you again for listening. I want to thank Valerie Cruzado and Jeff Alsop. Valerie is from Protective Pest Solutions out of Georgia, a fellow PMP, and Jeff Alsop from GPS Track It. Thank you guys both, and I appreciate your time. Have a good day.